I bought those glasses, and they hurt
Okay,
my
so
my
why is
nose.
this not part of the podcast?
It's because I don't know. It's pre-show because I don't know
Okay.
what we're going to talk about yet. Welcome everybody to the Hebrew Rebels podcast, episode 34. My name is Jordan,
And my name is Ethan.
and hope you like the new background, the new look of the show. I worked on it literally 5 minutes before we started, so
Not our backgrounds, but the
the
rounds that
show's
are
background.
back behind us.
Yes.
Whoa! I think is maybe what it looks like, something like that. Or
Yeah.
whoa, forward.
It looks
Not
like
sure which
we're
direction.
floating upwards, is what it looks like. And like there's like either stars or like water particles.
Okay,
It
wait,
looks like
I
we're
can't
underwater,
stop
honestly.
rising. I can't stop going up.
It's how like when you pull the lever on your chair, you can go down. I wish that there was a lever that would push you the same speed up. That'd be fun.
That would be intense. Well, I mean, I have a standing desk at work, and that's kind of what it takes massive hydraulics and
Do you really? I
just
didn't
to
know you
get
had
something to
that.
go up. Yeah,
I wish I had one. That'd be really cool.
it's nice. I wouldn't get one at home. I mean, now I would, but
Yeah.
I don't even use it at work. So
When we were doing my coding school thing, there's just like hundreds of computers throughout this massive like open floor plan room.
that
And
many.
I really wish we had standing desks because I got a little bit chunky just sitting there all the time for like
Oh yeah,
10 plus hours a day. And then with the kitchen over there that was always filled with snacks that were free for us to eat, it was bad.
that's a good deal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I actually forgot just how much I was snacking and stress eating before this because with the wedding coming up,
Uh-huh.
I was supposed to not be eating and be getting in shape, but I ended up stress eating like crazy, and that's all gone now. That didn't take long.
To just go back to the way you...
Yeah, because I stopped eating, not stopped eating, but like I was like the minimum to get me by
Yeah.
until we had food and everything, and
Right.
yeah,
So you're more comfortable now?
yeah, I feel good, yeah. Still gotta go get more stuff, but that's just how it's gonna go.
Yeah. I might mention this later. I went to a grocery store today, and you're going to go to one later. It was pretty fully stocked on
That's
most
good.
things.
Yeah, when I was
And it wasn't a
back,
madhouse either.
yeah, everything was stocked except for empty
Paper
toilet
goods.
paper
Yeah.
and paper towel aisle, which still just doesn't make sense because I don't think people are hoarding anymore.
No, I think maybe just the paper companies are backed.
Up,
So
right?
backed
And they're
up
just
now.
that's where we're at now.
Yeah.
So hopefully once it comes back, it'll stabilize.
Which is interesting because I feel like since a lot of companies aren't open, they're not buying all that stuff that they would have been, like toilet paper and stuff like that. So you think there'd be a little bit more to distribute, but
Here's the thing: companies, just based off like I work in an office building, they're not buying packs of Charmin to supply.
they're buying like the industrial
Office.
stuff.
Yeah, where it comes in different packaging. It's not really branded.
And that's one thing I heard is that like some of these factories that make like paper goods, they're trying to convert some of the machines that make like those bulky industrial size stuff to make your everyday toilet paper.
Just
And it's
regular,
not
yeah.
that easy. So once they can do that, then maybe we'll be in a little bit better shape. But
Factories are one of the biggest things we take for granted living in this modern age. I know for sure I did. I was just like, yeah, if you want to make a thing, you build a factory and you put robots in and you make a thing.
yeah,
I still remember like the first time I went into the King's Hawaiian factory, and you're like, it's what you expect to see, but then you really start to think about it and you're like, this does not happen by accident. Like, it is a collection of very specialized tools, like all working in concert to hopefully make something,
yeah,
and there's varying levels of like sophistication, and some of these sophisticated factories, like just like what Elon Musk has talked about with like Tesla and stuff.
right.
Yeah, I can imagine it's not just like, oh, make a different toilet paper roll. It's like every part of the process potentially.
Right.
But who knows? Hopefully they can tweak it.
I've always been so fascinated by those factory lines, those like automated,
Yeah.
like starting with the Model T or whatever, where they can just make it. It's just all every machine just puts this thing together without human hands,
Well,
or a magazine being made. You know, it's
the
like
crazy
it's
thing.
wild.
No, actually,
A lot.
especially
Okay.
cars. And it's really funny the things that we're needed for.
Right.
And it's really, really, really specific like tasks. And so back to Tesla, he mentioned when they had tried to design a robot to do something, and it was like there were like two things. There's like a thing hanging here and a thing hanging here. And to just grab that and just connect it. That's all they had to do.
Yeah.
To create a robot would have been nearly impossible, where a person can just go, done.
Sure.
It's like such a weird like concept of like we're very the robots are all very specialized.
Would it have been impossible or just taken too long to develop or to create it?
Oh, just the
Because I feel like
cost.
it can't. I mean,
no, the complexity for something to find something hanging in midair and do it over and over again correctly. Because the thing is when these robots have repeated tasks, they're doing thousands, millions of things. Like they're eventually gonna like be a little off and need to get like recalibrated
Sure.
potentially.
Yeah.
That it would have just been too crazy to get something to do that accurately 100% because it's off, because it's not an exact thing. If you just have a block and do that there and plug that in there, then a robot can do that perfectly every single time.
Yeah.
But to like grab something that's hanging in 3D space and connect it to another thing that's hanging in 3D space,
Right.
adds a lot of complication.
Yeah, I get that. Like if they
Not
have
something
if they have different starting points.
Yeah, what if it's slightly off?
Yeah.
Like eventually, obviously, we'll figure out
Sure.
how to.
And if anyone, I would
work.
think Tesla and them would figure that out. But
Yeah. But hey, they all switched to make ventilators. That's an
Good.
example of factories changing.
yeah. Well, speaking of outbreaks, I watched a movie called Contagion.
Oh, you finally did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. When did you watch this?
Today.
Yeah.
So remember
I want the
remember
reaction.
when I was going to London and I told you that I watched that episode of The Twilight Zone where the guy's up in the plane. It's called Nightmare at 30,000 Feet. And it's the guy on the plane. He goes crazy and he like the original one is he thinks he sees a monster, but the new one's like a more modern take on it. And I told you I watched that on a plane and you're like, you're an insane person.
Yeah.
So today I watched Contagion and then went to the grocery store. I feel like that's on the same level, sort of.
This is why I don't watch these movies.
Contagion is fantastic. It is one of the best movies I've ever seen.
That's awesome.
It's also
as a movie, as
terrifying.
Yeah.
It's literally exactly what we're going through on a much bigger scale.
Yeah.
Like by day 18, there were cases like and deaths in like the millions. So it's I mean it's not, I'm not saying it's impossible, but like compared to us, it's ridiculously like way out there.
So I'm so happy like you watched that, because I haven't watched these, but from everything I've heard is the difference with like these movies is they're always worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And it's always extreme and it's always super deadly and whatnot. And it's tough because there's two things. And like one is like, most of the time things don't mutate into like a super, super, super killer virus. But at the same time, people will watch that and then look at this and be like, oh, it's not that bad.
Right. I'm not thinking
that
I'm just saying that this movie is like, don't think that we're going to get to this point necessarily. Like this is this is like definitely turned up a lot, but there's this weird point in the movie. Like it's creepy how accurate this movie is to what we're currently going through. There's a point where someone who works at the CDC tells his wife to get out of town, and she's like, why, what are you talking about? He's like, just do it. And so as she's leaving, she stops by the grocery store and she buys like 5 flashlights, 50 batteries, so much water, like she's literally just dumping stuff into her shopping cart. She wasn't even told to. It's like, why are you buying so many flashlights? You're just driving south.
Electricity.
It's so bizarre. And then
because you could argue people panic bought because of movies.
That's what I'm thinking Honestly,
And
I was like,
that's what I'm.
it's not that this movie predicted it. It's that people are like, I've seen that before, so I need to do that. I feel like is a
It's
lot of it. And
that
then people go off
movie
of
is
that.
people make these movies based on human behavior. It's kind of this like circle,
Cycle, yeah.
right? Where it's like, and then we make the movies, which causes the behavior, which continues to make the movies about the behavior. But it's
And then the scariest part about the movie to me was
okay.
the whole thing when it starts is certain people are sick, and the
Mm-hmm.
camera will just linger on things that they touch. So like a glass and a handle and this counter, and then that person picks it up, and you're just like, oh, I already see it spreading. Like you can't see the virus, but you kind of can, like with your like X-ray vision that it gives
Yeah.
you. It made me shiver a little bit.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Don't don't watch it yet, but definitely watch it someday. It's very good.
It's when did it come out?
2011.
Oh, okay.
Directed by Steven Soderbergh, the same guy that made the Ocean's movies.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
And is it the idea that the virus is like very, very deadly?
Yeah.
So
I forget. I think it was. They mentioned what the mortality rate was, and it was like somewhere between like 25 and 50 or something. Like it
25
was
and
50%. Yeah, it was high.
I want to do a little. So, it's interesting because, are you familiar with Ebola?
I'm familiar with Ebola. Yeah.
So Ebola has about a 50% fatality rate.
Dang, really?
So Ebola is that virus in real life. It exists.
Did it kill that many people? Like it?
No, because we've isolated it to Africa. It doesn't spread as easy as this one. This one is dangerous because of how it spreads.
Right.
And it's more deadly than the regular.
Right.
If this was Ebola, we would be fucked. It would be.
So Ebola does not spread easily.
So the key thing is when you get Ebola, you're immediately not immediately, but you're very quickly symptomatic.
So you
it's
can isolate quickly.
That person's sick.
Yeah.
With this, it's the whole either asymptomatic or days of incubation, and you're spreading. That's why this one is so dangerous.
Well, even in this movie though, like they started showing symptoms within like a day. But even still, you come into contact and then you touch some stuff and then just everything's screwed.
So if it was a day, so a day was more like SARS. And SARS was like 8,000 people died, but they were able to like stop it because it didn't spread quite as much and because it was only a day.
Yeah.
This whole like 5-day asymptomatic or this 3 to 4 days before that.
Because then we could all do this lockdown thing. Everyone could literally just stay home for a week. And then we know who has it and then we can kill it. But
we live in America where people don't follow. Unfortunately, that is what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
But we're going to learn. We'll all remember this.
Yes, we will. That's what I keep thinking. I'm like, how am I gonna look back on this when I'm like 75 or something? I'll be like, oh yeah.
You're gonna realize how stupid everyone was. Unfortunately. Yeah. And how much better this could have been handled. Not when you're 75. In about 3 years, you're gonna realize that.
Yeah.
It's sad.
It's sad.
We will. So does it end positive or does it end with bye world? So for example, the movie I always think of in terms of something spreading is the Planet of the Apes reboot, where at the end of the movie have you seen it?
No.
With James Franco?
Yeah.
So at the end, it's not a spoiler since everybody knows what happens with Planet of the Apes, but at the end of the movie, you see the pilot.
It becomes a planet of humans, right?
Go to I forget what exactly the sickness is, but they hint that most of the movie's not about that. And then just at the end, there's like a sickness, and it is a planet of humans at first.
A sickness for humans, or a sickness amongst the monkeys that like makes them stronger. Oh, really?
It makes humans sick.
Oh,
it's like a whole thing. And so this like pilot, he's coughing. He's a character in the movie, and at the end, is into SFO, and like the flight, and then I think the movie like cuts to credits, and it's just like a overarching. She's been over there like freaking out about like I need to get something, and I'm just like I'm gonna just keep going.
That's funny.
And it just shows it spreading.
Oh, that's upsetting.
He gets on a plane, and then it just And then the next movie is years later.
Because I did wonder, just from watching the trailers, you can tell that like by the third one, the one with Woody Harrelson, it's like, okay, something is wrong. There's
Second one.
clearly less people. I don't remember the trailer.
All
as
the
much,
people
but,
were
like,
dead in the second one.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's brutal.
Yeah. The only one of those movies with like Earth, like it is now, was the first one.
I just always thought it was because the monkeys killed them. I didn't know it was a virus.
Yeah.
All right. Have you watched anything happier?
I watched actually something really, really cool. To be as descriptive as possible, obviously.
Yeah.
I watched a podcast that is one of my favorite podcasts that I've ever watched, and that led to a whole rush of nostalgia that I had forgotten about. And have you heard of the 9 Club?
I feel like I have.
Shout out to, I want to say his name is Chris Robert, and the 9 Club. And it is one of my new favorite podcasts. I'm going to wait till you find it so that you can describe what it is and confirm.
I don't.
Chris Roberts. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I instantly found it. I'm not sure why you're struggling.
No, I have it. I'm just trying to figure out if I've seen this before, because I'm seeing a lot of thumbnails of a bunch of different people. So, well, it seems pretty prestigious if they have The Rock on here.
They had The Rock on?
Yeah.
It's a skate podcast.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I know what the 9 Club is.
I knew you would. It seems like a pretty big one.
Well, I know what the 9 Club is in a certain context, because in Street League skateboarding.
Oh, is that the like top score or something?
The league that Rob Dyrdek started.
Yep.
The top score is a 10, but most people don't get even a 9. So if you get like a 9 or above, you're in the 9 Club.
I like that.
There's been quite a few of them at this point, but like,
but still, like,
hitting a 9 is like, it's
Yeah.
a big deal.
The fact that it's a big deal and there was still that like a lot of people, it seems like they found the right scoring balance.
Yeah. Keep it
which
to
is
like
really
the top
nice.
5%, or something. It's like make it
Exactly,
a nice
percentages.
thing. Not impossible, but so is that what? That's not what this is based on though, necessarily, right?
What is based on?
This podcast, or is that just what it
I bet-
references? Or
I bet I 100% bet that's what they're saying. I didn't know that. I didn't know. Anyways, so it's hosted by Chris Roberts. I'm not familiar with him, but I guess he was a pro skater.
okay,
And I first found this because I was looking up Tony Hawk stuff, and I know that's been coming up kind of recurringly. And I noticed that Tony Hawk did a podcast with him, and he talked about like the success of the Tony Hawk games. And that was like a 26-minute video, like 30-minute video. And once I finished that, I realized it was part of a 2.5-hour podcast. Now, you would think that means I was going to say that I then watched the Tony Hawk podcast, but that's not what I watched. I watched another one.
okay,
Because when I was looking for that, I noticed, oh my God, Bam Margera.
yeah.
And he did a podcast. And it turns out it's their number one podcast.
Interesting. I would love to hear what he has to talk
You
about. How
have
recently was it?
2017,
Okay.
2.5 years ago.
Okay.
But man, when I first started it, I was like, whoa, you look different.
Does he?
But over the course of watching it, I'm like, oh no, you don't really look that different. I just kind of forgot what you looked like, and you're kind of like crazy, dude.
It's so weird. He definitely has like mostly skateboarders on here. A lot of people I've never heard of, and also The Rock. Like, wait, what?
He's on everything.
How did that happen?
That's why I didn't even know he was on there. That's so funny.
Yeah, I'm just going through every episode right now.
Steve-O.
He
had Steve-O on there.
I would
So
like to
think they
listen to
have,
that one.
Probably the Jackass guys.
Steve-O was a pro skater, right? Or was he just a good skateboarder who...
I think that.
Okay.
I don't think he was a pro skater. I don't think he went pro. He may have. I could be wrong there.
Yeah.
I
Man,
won't.
some
I won't
of these
spoil the
names
whole
are a
plot.
throwback.
Yeah, dude. That's what this is. This whole part of my life that I've apparently forgotten, like how into skating I was.
Yeah.
And what an integral, like, in my formative years, I watched skating. I remember I wanted to be a photographer that like take pictures of skating, just the entirety of the music, the culture, all of that. I was so embedded in that, and I've really like, it's just fallen out of culture, and I realized,
Right.
hey, it doesn't actually not have to be there. But Bam's an interesting one because did you watch his shows?
I was never. Was he a part of Jackass?
He was involved with Jackass.
He was involved, right?
He's
But
not
like,
a main one. So
well,
he was known for CKY,
okay.
which was like I remember hearing about CKY videos. They'd make like music and rock and do skating and all kinds of weird, crazy shit. I think they were a band.
Yeah.
But then and he got in with Tony Hawk, and he was in the Tony Hawk games. But then he got this Viva La Bam show
Yeah.
on MTV, and even that I had forgotten about.
I have seen some of that, but I was never like a big watcher of that.
It was a time and a place.
Yeah.
Like hearing him talk about it, these stories though, wow. It's really funny because I forgot how popular that was. And watch it, you'll see how popular that.
Yeah.
And I even went up to Maya. I was like, "You remember Bam Margera?" She's like, "Yeah, Viva La Bam." Like, she just started hitting it all off. I'm like, "Wow, that really was like, you didn't have to be into skating.
Right.
Like that was when skate culture was culture."
Well, it was funny because like
art.
I mean, you need either. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't ever a skateboarder, but I
loved
was
it.
into that
everything
whole
but
culture
ride
and
the
stuff.
skateboard.
Right. Yeah, me
Because
too.
I didn't want to get hurt. I'm such a bitch.
I tried
It's
it
like-
a few times. And I was like, man, I can't do it. I can't even ollie. So I'm not gonna try. Not gonna pursue.
I remember
this.
so when I was in middle school, when I was living in India, all my friends and we lived on this compound, and so they would just skate all over the compound. Like what a that was where like I learned what it was, because I was with all these skaters, and it would be like, let's go to this spot. Like I learned what spots were, and like doing a trick over and over and over and
Yeah.
over until they nail it, and how
Right.
exciting that was. Couldn't pay me to get on one. I remember like I tried, but they were all so far ahead of me, and it was like I just didn't have the freedom and the time to kind of figure that out.
You're also very tall.
I'm also very tall.
It's harder
I was young.
to get that gravity down.
I wasn't coordinated at the time, so I rode my scooter.
Yep. I love
Or my
scooting.
bike.
Scooting
Or
is
my
my
bike.
favorite thing.
And I even hitched a tuk-tuk around the compound on a scooter while they were on skateboards.
That's awesome.
I made it work. So, but I do wish that I'd gotten more into skating. But yeah, it was just kind of a crazy trip down memory
That's cool.
lane.
I will check
and
that out.
It's also exciting because he's started skating again.
Who
The
did?
show basically
Really?
took him away from skateboarding. Like, and that was the thing, is like I forgot he was actually one of the best skateboarders in the world.
That's wild.
Like legitimately.
Because you always just see him
so-
screwing around.
Yeah. And it's,
Same
so
with
it's-
Steve-O. That's why I wonder. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know
So
he's really
no,
good,
no,
but how
no,
good
no.
was he?
Evo and Bam, like no, Bam is like
Crazy good.
legit skateboarder and
Yeah.
stuff. The stories he tells, yeah. So I definitely recommend that. Go check it out.
Ooh,
There's
and
so
the,
many good
okay,
stories.
I was looking for this. There's a Nigel Houston episode, so I want to
Yeah.
listen to that
Mhm.
too.
So I'm going to do one skate that I was talking
Yeah.
about. Apparently Hollywood High is like a big skate spot.
Yeah.
And he was kind of going over the history of when like he first moved out here and what stuff was like, and now what it's like for like the kids nowadays and what they're doing, and how like most kids are learning to kickflip and a shove it in an ollie all in the first day of skating. Like they're crazy. And
Yeah.
he was talking to how Nija nailed some trick on the 16 stair at Hollywood High, and how it was like this like nollie flip backside blunt side nose blunt, where like if you think about the physics, you kill yourself, where you're like jumping up and flipping over and then hitting the rail, sticking to it and
Yeah.
taking it.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's like a trick that shouldn't be possible.
And this
they
is when he was a
mentioned-
kid?
No, this was like a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
So they were talking. Bam was talking about Nija
Wow.
and how he wouldn't even attempt it.
Yeah.
Bam would not even attempt that, and Nija threw down this trick. Like this is like a famous trick that he threw down apparently. So I looked up the video, and it's
Dude,
It's
you
intense.
don't frequent Instagram. Do you? You don't use Instagram very often, right?
Mm,
Even to look at
sometimes,
stuff.
yeah.
Dude, his Instagram, he usually posts videos of
Nigel.
him skating. It's just the most clean, beautiful like skate lines I've ever seen in my life. He is
It's-
so insanely good.
and no, so and that's the thing, is like he does. Why did people think that was impossible? it
Right.
looks like he just did that. But like it took, like what Bam said is like he wouldn't even be able to like put his legs out there to try it because the risk you're putting yourself in. And it seems like Nigel's just so fearless. He has such a vision for what and how to do it. But it's like he takes a fall in that video, and you're like, you're gonna get back up,
Right.
and he gets back up and he keeps going.
Yep.
I love
I've told you, right, that when Robin and I used to go skate at the skate park
At skate
at
park.
Torrance Skate Park, he was skateboarding there.
Who
Nigel Houston as a little kid.
is he from here?
Yeah.
Like SoCal? Makes sense.
He must. He probably didn't live like in our city, but I think
No,
he
I
would
didn't
just
mean
hit
our-
a
no, but
bunch
just
of skate parks. I think he's
SoCal, yeah.
like he has different roots, like San Diego and like, but definitely around here. Yeah, he would be at
Oh, he's
our
from
skate park.
Vegas, so he's NorCal.
He's aware.
But I'm sure he's NorCal originally. Daisy. He's NorCal originally, so I'm sure he moved back down here at some point.
We would see him there, and I just remember because he had these really long dreads, so he was super recognizable. And I remember there was a show called Wild and Crazy Kids, and
Okay.
there was some like
Sorry
skateboarding
about the
challenge. It's okay. And I remember seeing him like, that's the kid from the skate park. And then later, once he grew up, and they would show like old footage of him, I'm like, that's that kid I used to see. So I realized like he's always been around.
That's really cool. I remember you mentioning that, but I forgot that had happened.
But he was always, even at the skate park, even as a little kid, he was the fearless kid that everyone at the skate park would stop and watch. Everyone would get out of his way. Like, he would just stand at the top of the pyramid and just, as a little tiny kid, just tell people to move. And they moved,
See,
and he would
and
go do some crazy thing.
It's the fearlessness. Wherever he got that from, he's clearly had that all along.
Yeah.
And he hasn't hurt himself enough to lose that, which is great because you need that to be a skater.
Yeah, I worry about extreme sports people like that, but
I pride my ankle bones staying under the skin.
yeah.
I don't desire to nail a trick enough to risk that at the end of the day. I accept that about myself, and I'm really happy that there are people like that's what motivates them in life, because we get to see some sick ass stuff.
For sure. And I like my brain like kind of staying in place too. That's why I don't push myself too much when I'm snowboarding. I don't want to hit my head too hard, you know?
Yeah.
So just do things slowly and chill. I'm fine with that.
It kills me because I remember do all these things, just getting out there and being worth it.
Yeah.
Just not worth it.
It hit me a few years ago. Like, as much as I love snowboarding, I'm just like, if someone told me I could never snowboard again,
okay,
I could give it up. I could
live with it
to not cause severe injury to myself. Like, it's just not worth it. I don't love it that much.
It's fun. It's awesome. It's one of like my favorite fun things to do during winter, like this time of year. Like, let's go ride down a mountain. Like, how cool is that? But
now,
yeah,
like,
it's
say someone told you that by some just like random freak of nature thing,
mm-hmm.
there's a higher probability of you tearing something in your knee. Would you still play basketball? Like, is your love of basketball worth like a heightened risk of tearing something?
I need more context.
Not a life-changing thing necessarily. It would be terrible for a while, but
because that is already there. That already exists.
I know it is. I know it's a possibility, but like,
somebody tore their ACL on the Sunday basketball that I play at. I still remember he went down and this is an older guy, and it was instant. Like not even a lot of contact, if any contact, and then just down, and he was out for a year plus.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, on the grand control board of life, someone turned up the meniscus tearing probability knob for basketball. Would you still go play?
Yeah.
That's good.
Like, that's such an impossible thing to answer, because it's like,
not.
Is it permanent? Because then if it's permanent, then I'm missing out on this,
Right.
this, and this. And no, I wouldn't do it to miss out on all of that stuff. But if it's just like a road bump,
well, it's usually not permanent, right? It can be, but usually you can recover from it.
Yeah. And so that's why I would say yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give up basketball unless somebody was gonna die, or if I was gonna like not be able to do other activities for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Like, if I could, if playing basketball carried the risk of never being able to go hiking again, I wouldn't do it.
Right.
Just because, I don't know. No, I'm not so sure.
Because like the head trauma just is not worth snowboarding. So I'm like, okay, yeah, just take snowboarding away from me then. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'll just
Yeah. Thankfully,
I'll just stay on the
concussions
ground.
are
Yeah,
super prevalent in basketball.
right. It's just nasty
Yeah.
tears and breaks and stuff, or bloody noses.
Yeah. What was I? That's what else I watched.
But what?
Speaking of basketball,
Uh-huh.
there's a new documentary out. 2 episodes are out, and I'm gonna highly recommend that you watch them.
Okay.
They are on ESPN3, and it is called The Last Dance,
Okay.
and it is about Michael Jordan's last season with the Bulls.
Cool.
And it is a phenomenal piece of storytelling and documentary work.
Uh-huh. Is ESPN
It's on
3
ES
like is that
it's-
online?
Yeah, that's the online, because I'm not
Okay.
at home, so I can't record and watch on ESPN. So it's every Sunday night. If you're interested, I think it'd be a cool thing to talk about, because
Yes.
one, it's one of the biggest things in the world right now, or at least in the States. Like, everybody is like, there's no sports. So this documentary was already planning to come out. They moved up the date to get it out sooner, because
Okay.
like people are clamoring for content, and so the eyes on this documentary is like the world now. I watched the first 2 episodes, which came out, and it'll give you some background into Michael Jordan and stuff, but it's just fascinating. It's good stuff.
I would like to watch that because I feel like as much as I know that Michael Jordan was like, one of the greatest of all time, I know that he was super successful with the Bulls and all the championships and stuff. Like, I don't know.
You don't get it quite.
I don't know the details really. I know the highlights. I don't know like really his teammates or anything. I don't even know if I saw recently that like Phil Jackson was his coach. Don't think I realized that.
Yeah, you got to watch this. It's incredible.
And Dennis Rodman was his teammate
At one point.
So it's I would like to
Kerr.
learn more. Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Who else? I'm trying to think who else you would know.
I know Scottie Pippen.
Yes, they
I
just
know
the
that
second
one.
episode got into some Scotty that everybody's talking about.
Really?
Yeah,
So is this show like revealing stuff that no one knew?
for
Is
sure.
this the Tiger King of basketball
It's
that everyone's talking about?
I don't even want to acknowledge that show. I really don't. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting, because it's a combination. So the whole premise is that the last season of the Bulls, to film crew was given unprecedented 24/7 access to film everything.
24/7.
Like, for the most part, like, get it all. This is the last of it. Record it for history.
And this
And
is
now
stuff that
22.
hasn't come out until now.
It's going to be a lot of new footage. Like, a lot of it's known. Like,
Okay.
this is one of the most famous stories of all time. But like, it's just kind of like the Imagineering story, where it's
Right.
like a lot of that stuff is known, and there's documentaries about it in different formats. This is going to be like the definitive one, and there's
Yeah.
new footage, new remastered HD footage that's been like locked behind whatever.
Well, it's like Apollo 11 too. It's like they
Mhm.
recorded so
Yes.
much, but then didn't show it until 50 years later. It's like, what were you doing
Yeah.
just sitting on that all this time?
Still trying to go to space.
I guess so.
Uh,
Yeah, I'll watch that. That sounds cool.
so yeah, I forgot that's pretty much what I watched.
I would like to watch a documentary or a documentary series that's not like super upsetting. That'd be nice.
Yeah, it's some an uplifting,
Just
interesting.
nice context to basketball. That'd be
Yeah.
nice.
There you go.
I watched
You watch
another
any other-
movie
Yeah.
called The Platform. It's on Netflix.
Ooh, what's that about?
Okay,
Is
let
it a
me-
platform that people stand on, or is it a platform that people use?
It is a platform that people stand on.
There you go.
It is about it's a Spanish movie. So spoken in Spanish.
El platformio.
Yes, maybe, probably.
Yeah.
It takes place in a prison where every cell is stacked on top of each other. So
Oh.
one cell, and there's a rectangular hole in the middle of each cell. So you can look straight down to the very bottom of this prison and see all the levels and stuff.
And there's
and on-
glass there.
Nope, it's a hole. On every level, there are 2 people. And starting from top to bottom, there is a platform that starts with like a large selection of really nice food, and it goes down to each level, and for 30 seconds maybe it stays there, and everyone gets to eat as much as they can, and then it goes down and down and down. And as you can imagine, the lower it goes, the less food there is. Or
Until they kill each other.
maybe.
And
Who knows?
So you have less food, and all of a sudden only one person can eat. That's how you get it down to one person.
So if for some reason there is only one person left in a cell, every month they shake up the order of the cells. So you get put to sleep, and then you wake up and you're in a new cell, maybe higher, maybe lower. And if you didn't have a cellmate before, you have a new cellmate now.
Yeah. That's how you keep it moving.
I don't know if that sounds interesting to you.
Sounds terrifying.
Don't watch it. You'll hate it.
Yeah, it sounds terrifying. Can we just? I want to know. I want to know all about.
Horrible.
So okay, so I'm assuming there's some kind of an incentive to like, hey, you help me out now, and I'll help you out if you.
There's a little bit of that.
Food.
Yep. There's.
Okay,
but there's this other weird thing, this like social structure of you just hate and demoralize everyone below you. Even if you're on level 5 and level 6, they're worthless. They're scum to you.
Just for survival?
That's just the mentality of people. There was a spark and it grew, and that's just the way it is.
Okay.
And the whole movie you're trying to figure out how many levels are there exactly. There's rumors. Some people think it's this. Some people think it's this. Some people don't know. Some people
give me some
claim
ideas.
That they were on.
What are some guesses that people have?
Well, he wakes up. The main character wakes up on level 48.
And that's one being at the top?
Yes.
Now, is the top sea level surface, and then the prison goes underground?
That's one bummer. They don't go into that. You never get to see what this place looks like from the outside.
So this was a low budget film?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's a Spanish like Netflix movie.
It
was someone in that sense, like
this.
someone made the movie they wanted, and Netflix gave them money for it. So like, good on that person. But
maybe we can make him a Netflix movie then.
You and me.
Mm-hmm.
About what were we talking about last night? We came up with a movie. Oh, that lady, the girl who got sued. She won the lottery ticket. Let's make a Netflix movie.
I think I forgot to save that idea.
Well, I recorded it, so it's okay.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, let's make a Netflix movie. That's a thing.
So, did the main character live or die?
It's unknown.
Oh. So he starts on 48.
You would have to watch to find out.
What's the biggest number we hear?
I don't want to give that away. I don't want to spoil it. Because some people will want to watch this.
Like this. Just show me over here. That way they don't see over here.
Did you get it?
Yeah. I ate it.
Okay, wait, hold on. I'm gonna text it to you right now. How about that?
Oh, okay. And then
so
we'll
you
see
can
my
react
live
to
reaction.
it. You can react to it, but no one will actually know. Yeah.
I don't want to be there.
No.
That's not good.
It's bad.
Can you defecate in the hole?
Uh-huh. Yeah, you see a lot of stuff in this movie. Can I bring up something that I don't think it's something that you're entirely interested in, but it's something I'm very confused by.
Yeah.
I'll just read the breaking news.
Okay.
Breaking news: the Patriots and Buccaneers have been discussing a trade for retired tight end Rob Gronkowski. Gronkowski has 1 year and $10 million left on his contract. I didn't realize he still had a contract to be traded. I thought he retired.
He did.
How does that work? Do you still? Is it just left out there in limbo in case you want to come back?
I don't want to play. I'm hurting. And then he's like, "Wait, Tom Brady went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Hey, I want to play."
So did he get paid this last year?
I don't know.
Like, does your contract still fizzle out like over the course of time that you get paid? Because I understand someone wants to retire, but I feel like you should sever your contract at that point. You know?
I really don't know.
Even like Andrew Luck, it's like, yeah, I want to retire because I don't want to get hurt anymore. Cool, I get it. We're not going to pay you the remainder of your 5-year salary to do nothing. I know that doesn't make any sense. So now Rob Gronkowski is going to go play with Tom Brady on the Buccaneers. That makes me very angry.
Why?
I hate that. I don't want the Buccaneers to be good.
They're
One
not
of my
gonna
good
be
friends.
good.
Yes, they are. One of my good
They're
friends is
gonna
a
be
Buck.
good.
Yes, they are. Of course.
Really?
Yeah.
They have more than Tom Brady and Gronk?
I don't know if they need that much more.
I
I don't know if they need
wouldn't
that
say
much
it.
more.
Time has passed.
They'll be good. I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl or they're going to be the best team in the league, but they will be good.
That's pathetic then. If old ass Tom Brady and partially Gronk can just come back, go play for Tampa Bay and be that
If
much of a
best
contender.
quarterback of all time, Tom Brady, and best tight end of all time, Tom Brady,
formerly best quarterback.
he's the best quarterback.
Not currently.
Yes, who is?
He's the best.
Okay, well,
I haven't been as much on it, so I don't. I just find that seems
they
crazy.
had a disappointing year,
Yeah.
even though they went like 12-4 or 13-3. They got
Did
kicked
they
out.
still?
Yeah, they got kicked out early in the playoffs because they made stupid mistakes. But
Yeah.
like they were likely going to contend with the Chiefs for the AFC Championship and then go to the Super Bowl.
That's crazy.
Anything else? Watch play. Anything
Yeah.
else?
We're still making our way through Community.
Love that
I did
show.
beat another level of Doom, so I'm kind of like figuring out the structure because it's very much like start to finish.
Are you
Like,
still
they're
playing
linear.
2016 or are you on Eternal?
Yeah, 16. I don't.
Okay.
I don't have Eternal. I really just need to finish this game, but it's really like sit down and mission at a time.
Yeah.
I haven't even timed out how long they are, but I think I can. My goal is to have Doom finished by next podcast. I'm going to hold myself to that,
Okay.
and I will give a review.
Cool. Very nice.
Oh, and then we have been playing which is just crazy, but more GTA.
Yeah.
And it's just so much fun. It's stupid fun.
It's funny because like every time I know we bring it up over the course of the years and stuff, and we're like, I'm not really feeling it. But like I always know that at some point we're gonna get back to it. I always know it will suck us back in.
I saw it pop up at times, and it was like I would just think about like the hours we would put in.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, really? I don't want to play that. I don't want to jump back into that, and then I'd always, nah. And all it took was somebody being like, "You should really play."
Well, and it wasn't until the casino heist I was like, okay,
Yeah,
this is what
true.
we've been waiting for. Like I'm down now. And even still, it took us a little while to finally get back into it. And even still, we haven't really started our whole like heist group thing. So
no, but we're almost there.
we've been messing around.
We should record and post some cool videos when we do the heists.
I definitely want to make videos out of the heists.
Yeah.
I recorded
that
us
could be
doing
like
the
that's
first
such an
one,
easy like.
so I can
boom.
chop that up.
Which one?
You and I did the first heist.
Yeah.
But then everything after that is a 4-person heist, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we can
I'm
make
gonna
a series out of that. Because I'm so happy Levin has a mic now. It made me so happy.
Game changer.
Yeah.
Game changer. And you weren't. I didn't tell you, right? Or
You told me.
I gave you a heads up. Yeah. I thought about like waiting and just you being like, what?
For someone I've never met before, playing with that person and not even being able to speak to them is weird. But being able to communicate, it's like, okay, we're friends now.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're a human that I am communicating with, not AI.
Right. It's funny because like he doesn't sound anything like what I thought he would sound like.
That's funny.
It's so bizarre.
Yeah. I know. Imagine if you could actually meet in real person life.
One day.
One day.
I was supposed to meet him
One day.
a couple weeks ago.
Is it that long now? 5 days? 6 days? 7 days?
It would have been a week or so before that too.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that stuff. Yeah.
We were supposed to have bachelor party stories to be telling already.
And
yeah.
Yeah, I got
put it on.
No. Nope.
I know.
If it opens back up, we may do that. So.
If what does the
offices,
the licenses and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully, I imagine it will sooner than later for certain things. Because there are so many people out there that like can't legally get married. They're like, okay, we got to do something for people to be able to get a certificate, you know? or
Yeah,
license.
I mean, this is,
You like
I
print
don't,
one out.
I don't know, but you have to go, like,
It has
the
to get
whole thing was
notarized, I
like
assume.
in person. Like, it's so much about being in person, and it's like until they figure out how to do that
Yeah.
safely,
Yeah.
we can't. But that's why I'm not worrying about it. It'll
Yeah.
pop up when
Yeah.
it's possible, and we'll go from there.
Well, and like you mentioned it one time. It's like there's a lot of people going through the exact same thing. It's not like it's
Yeah.
targeted just to you, so
No.
it's nothing to be too sad about.
Only because other people are suffering.
Yeah, exactly. It's so much easier to go through things when everyone else is in agonizing pain with you.
And
That's the
that
best. I
the
love it.
other things are significantly worse, like losing your job
Yeah, exactly.
or your life.
It's easy to put it into context like that.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. So that's why I'm like, yeah, I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you'll be okay. I watched one other movie. It's a weird segue, but
What else did you
another
watch?
Netflix movie.
Cool.
You probably have seen ads for it on Netflix. You know how they like to like bash you over the head with certain things. A few weeks ago, they released a movie called Spencer Confidential with Mark Wahlberg and
He's still doing stuff?
Winston Duke. You know the husband from
Okay.
Us. That massive.
Yes,
dude.
yes. I love him. He's great.
I love him too.
That's his name.
Winston Duke. Isn't that a great name?
That's one of the best names I've heard.
Yeah, he's really
That's
cool.
awesome.
I like him a lot. So this is a movie. Mark Wahlberg is a former Boston, of course, cop who got put in jail because he beat up his captain for reasons I'll let you find out when you watch the movie. And then he gets released from prison, and he, for some reason, still knows that there's like something shady going on, that captain is still around, so he like does some digging, and then the captain dies. And then there's like this whole like secret organization that he has to like infiltrate and like figure out what's going on as just a citizen, because he's not a cop anymore.
Okay.
And it's not very good, but it's entertaining enough. And Post Malone is in it. He plays one of his he plays another inmate in the prison. Yeah. And I loved that part. And do you know who Eliza Schlesinger?
The comedian.
The comedian. She plays his wife. She's fantastic. She
is
hilarious.
Newbar?
Eliza Schlesinger. She's very good. And what's the Alan Arkin is like some guy who I don't know who he is. I don't know the relation between the two of them, but he's just a guy in the movie. And there might be more of them. So hey,
guys or movies?
No, movies.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Can't recommend, but if you need...
Post Malone is the leading guy.
He's so on. You know how Netflix changes the thumbnails a lot? It's really weird.
I hate it.
Every time you log on, you're like, how did you make that? Where did you come up with that?
So I weird random segue, because years ago, before Netflix quite what it is now, but still was the basis of what it is now.
Right.
And I noticed they'd be constantly changing the thumbnails, and it was before they had all the custom like UI stuff, and it would just be the more standard, here's the stuff, and you'd see the thumbnails change a lot. And I was like, why the hell is that? And I read this article. They have like, for every movie, they have like 4 or 5 presets of box arts, and they're running all these algorithms that is trying to customize to your profile.
That's the way it seems.
To what you'll click on. So it like tests different box arts to see what it draws you in enough to click on something to watch it.
That is fascinating to me.
I hate it so much, because Netflix is all about doing stuff behind the scenes that most people don't care. They're just, let me put my Netflix on and click a movie.
Right.
I've always treated Netflix as like a custom curated collection that I'm using. I organize my list, which they make nearly impossible to do, because that's not what they want.
Right.
They want people confused,
right,
and not knowing, disoriented, and not knowing what to do. And it's like the fact that the box art's changing every time. I've always hated that. Let me pick it. Because I want a digital bookshelf.
Yeah, exactly.
And they just continue to make that. Like, I'd even like color coordinate stuff, and then change it.
Because there's certain thumbnails for
Ooh,
things like
apps.
The Office and Parks and Rec, and like
They
there's
don't
certain
change.
ones that I really like, and then they
Oh.
change it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
man,
Yep.
why is it just a picture of like Creed now? It's
yeah.
like I liked it when it was everybody. Why is it just?
Yeah.
It's just so random. But
I hate
they
that.
must know me pretty well because the only one I've ever seen for Spencer Confidential is just Post Malone. So I'm like, I'll do that one.
That's hilarious. Why? Boom. There you go. Like that's weird. Where'd they get that from?
That's so fascinating though. Like, it's
Yeah.
very upsetting. It's like it feels like they're invading your privacy
100%.
quite a bit, but I'm impressed by it.
When I say 100% in terms of like it feels like that, does it matter?
To them, it doesn't matter to them.
Does it matter to us? No.
Oh no, yeah.
Do
True.
I
Like, it's
care
not
if you know what I like to watch? No.
Yeah, true.
As long as you don't know my bank account number and are stealing money from me, I
Yeah,
market to me all you want.
yeah. Record my watching patterns. I really don't
Yeah.
care. I'm not gonna go to jail for anything like that.
No. Trying to think if there's any like next gen. I think there's rumors that next month May is going to be the big unveils of there's the rumors and the chatter about next gen game reveals are starting to grow.
Okay. Cool.
We've already seen they released one thing, which is like a remastered game. So they're like, if you want to maybe see what PS5 is going to look like, no, done. And I think I just saw Xbox is planning. Oh, they're going to announce their cheaper.
The cheaper what? The cheaper console?
The cheaper Xbox, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it'll be interesting how they're going to position that.
Did they announce off the bat that they were doing two?
It's still all rumors. Nothing
really?
official. From everything from Xbox is Series X. That's it.
Okay.
They haven't even acknowledged the existence.
Do people think PlayStation is doing the same thing?
Because there's no rumors, I say no, but they could. I still think it'll be PS5, PS4 Pro, PS4. Then they'll drop the PS4 off. Then it'll be PS5 Pro, PS5, PS4 Pro, and then they'll drop that off, and then it'll be PS5 Pro. I think that's going to be their future kind of.
Yeah, just have the most recent three.
Apple's just got into that. Apple just dropped the iPhone 2, which I think they're just calling SE.
Yeah.
SE2. They don't. I don't think it has the 2.
Okay.
They're right how they don't call it iPad 2 and stuff now.
Right.
$400, and it's like
they just released that.
Yeah, and it's like I mean, they've had one, but the previous one was based on. Is it based on like the 6S or no, the 5S or something like that?
The SE was, I feel like, based on the 5.
Yeah, it was like the long one where the like 2 strips at the end, kind of metal design.
Yeah.
I could be off, but they hadn't updated that in a long time, and they just updated that, and it's cheap, $400, and it's like 4K video, like all really good features.
That's actually really cheap.
Yeah, you don't get 4 cameras, and you don't get this and this, but you can get into the Apple ecosystem with a really, really, really high quality iPhone.
Yeah,
$100 now.
That's good.
And it's like it's taken years for Apple to get to this point. Like the value in that is so high. So now, if we push that over to PlayStation and Sony, everybody said, "Hey, if someone will buy a new $1,000 phone, why don't a stronger console?" Hence the PS4 Pro, the Xbox One X.
Yeah.
People bought them. It worked. But if you can position the PS4 and especially the PS4 Pro at eventually $200 to enter that ecosystem, that's a really, really, really high value position.
Because I think currently the PS4 Pro is still at like $350 or something.
$400.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Because I looked the other day, because we have in the living room we have a PS3, and it can play
Blu-rays. Were you guys thinking about it?
Well, my dad's like, because I mentioned the PS4 Pro. It doesn't what?
It doesn't play 4K Blu-rays.
I thought it did.
No.
Really? Just the Xbox One.
Yeah.
S.
Maya's Xbox One S plays 4K Blu-rays.
Does the Xbox One?
No.
Okay.
So it was like, so Microsoft updated the Xbox One to the One S. They got rid of their old one. Here's the new box, and it can play 4K Blu-ray. Sony was like, we don't need. We're not even gonna include that in this generation. It'll differentiate, and so they're just saving that for PS5.
Sure.
But a lot of people, and myself included, were very bummed about that.
Yeah, I wish it. If it did, I think we would get one.
Look, I see. It's weird little things like
To be able to, although we don't have a 4K TV, so we would get one probably, but like,
yeah.
That's too much. Like, we don't need it really. I don't have enough 4K movies either.
I'm doing it for gaming. Like, that's the whole reason to push to 4K is for gaming.
Right.
But yeah, you say that, and I'm like, shit, I don't even have any 4K content. Does Disney Plus do 4K?
For certain things, I think they do.
And Netflix has 4K?
Yeah, certain things they make available to stream in 4K. But even then, streaming isn't as good as like the actual disc itself. Mm-hmm. So.
But thankfully, next-gen consoles will have 4K Blu-ray, and, you know, 4K, it's an interesting time to get in because it's, even though it's been around, it's still maturing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'll be pretty future-proofed.
I'm gonna do this one last thing. I do actually have some 4K content that I want to show you right now. Hold on one sec. I'm gonna turn my camera off for a second so I can reveal this. So
okay.
I wanted to get a thing just in case it ever, you know, maybe sold out. I couldn't not have this.
Okay.
So.
Nice. Very beautiful. How nice is it?
It's very beautiful. Those are correct words. So.
Because I know it's in stock. Should I get it?
I don't know. Do you want? Can you?
Of course, I want to get it.
I know you want to, but like.
I'll go bug Maya right now.
Yeah, get it. It's something that I like.
Yeah.
I love having this and the just the first 6 one also. Yep. Mm-hmm. You know.
Yep. Wrap this up. No, I'm just kidding.
It's.
I've been seeing it sitting there.
Now the only thing that wait, what?
I've been seeing it sitting there.
On what?
My Best Buy.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant on my dresser. Like, could you tell what it was?
No, I didn't even know that's what you were getting. I've had it.
Check this out. The only thing that bugs me is that the Death Star doesn't line up. Do you see that?
Okay, I don't want to know.
Yours might, but mine doesn't, and it's really annoying.
No, that's really weird.
But I mean, there's so many discs in this thing. It's insane.
Don't stop. Okay, I'm gonna try to predict. Oh God.
Predict what?
All the discs.
How many? The number?
What they were. I was gonna try to look, but it was super. Yeah.
It's just so cool, and I have episode 9 now.
Yeah.
Even though it'll be on Disney Plus, and who knows?
Oh, that's so true. I forgot about that.
Not that long. So
now is that what kind of discs does that come with?
So it comes with the Blu-ray and the 4K of every single movie.
Regular and the 4K?
Blu-ray and 4K, yeah. And a digital copy for all of them. And a bonus content disc for every single one, except episode 9 has 2 bonus content discs.
Very cool. Okay, yeah, I gotta get that. I hate it. I wanted to wait. I wish it was coming out later, but I guess it doesn't matter.
It's just because I know that the Infinity Saga one sold out.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if this was going to be similar.
Because of the negative press, I thought it would. MCU is like infallible. Like
untouchable, yeah.
Yeah, it's whatever that is, it goes. Because it's really the comic book fans that are like super, super hardcore. The people that have been following this entire life.
Yeah. And
now it's the movie version.
Right. Because like honestly, I will buy that one day on eBay for whatever cheapest version I can find. I want to own that.
How much was it when it came out?
Dude, like
was it 500?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it was a lot.
If it was still in stock, I would buy it right now. But $550. Ugh.
Yeah, I know. So the reason I couldn't do it, and even the reason I'm tempted not to do that, is because of Disney Plus.
It seems silly, right? Like everything that's on here in here.
Yeah.
not only do I have multiple versions of already, except for episode 9, but it's on, streaming. But it's Star Wars, It's like, this will be on my shelf for the rest of my life.
Yeah, and like, if the apocalypse happened, could still have Star Wars.
As long as there's electricity.
We'll have electricity. I'm not worried about electricity.
Right.
We've reached a point in
you're
human
talking
history
about
where
you're talking about a streaming service being down, right?
yeah.
So if there were no more Disney Plus, you could still play any of the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm talking about if data centers aren't being run.
Yes.
To stream something to me, but I can still put a
plug in your
panel
PlayStation
out, plug in a TV, then I can watch Star Wars forever.
Exactly.
Or at least kill myself while I'm watching Star Wars.
Just kind of
say goodbye to the world with Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because do you really want to still be there?
Get in the bathtub, get a nice glass of wine.
Star Wars.
Put on Star. You let Star Wars kill you. That would not
apparently.
Be one thing I think I have decided on is if I can't buy this $550 box set anymore.
See how much it is on eBay.
I found on Reddit one guy made really, really cool alternate sleeves for all of the DVDs. So I might just go back and fill in the ones that I don't have and just print those out. So that, you know how you wanted the same version of every movie so that they're all uniform?
Yeah.
This guy just made these. I could just print those out and then all my movies are uniform, essentially. So I think I might just do that.
So I'm glad you mentioned uniform. I did watch one other thing. And I watched a video from the YouTube channel Yesterworld. He has some good videos about like defunct things and just like the history of past existences. And this video was on the history of Walt Disney Home Video.
Interesting.
The convolutedness that I've never understood and have been chasing for years to try to understand and attempting to throw money at, thankfully never doing so.
Is this when they would like lock movies behind in the
Disney
vault and stuff like that?
Yeah, except he started all the way back in World War II.
He started doing that?
No, like the history of the video.
Okay.
Like it took Disney's like strategy, like that time to now, and it's fascinating.
Interesting. What's it called?
Yesterworld.
Yesterworld.
And then it's like the history of Walt Disney Home Video.
Cool.
I'm probably gonna watch it again with Maya, but he goes through basically a timeline of like, okay, then this technology came out and Disney didn't like that, so then they tried to put these people and they didn't want to do that. But the key thing was Disney's business used to be, and I don't know if you knew this, their business model was theatrical re-releases. So Disney Studios makes Snow White, they make Pinocchio, they make all these bangers, right?
Yeah.
And you see them in theaters. If you're a kid, literally until basically if you want to see that again, well, no, before that actually, you had to wait until they put it in theaters again. Like they made their films only for the big screen.
Right.
Like, and I think that's interesting because Studio Ghibli had a similar kind of view. Now they did obviously DVDs and all that, they couldn't stop, but
I mean, they're the ultimate company to re-release movies. They do it every year and a half.
So that was their thing, right? Like essentially that was what Disney was doing, but like in a little spread out version. They're like, oh, you should only see them like this. This is like the way to see it. And that's how they made their money too.
Right.
Obviously Ghibli is now going to be on HBO Max, so it's like,
oh yes,
yes, I'm super excited.
Which I think is coming out early May.
It just got announced May 27th.
Yeah, late May.
And I checked today, and thank you to my grandparents. Thank you to my grandparents because they have the certain DirecTV package. Our HBO will just automatically upgrade to
convert to HBO Max.
To HBO Max, yeah.
Sweet.
Which is awesome. But no, so eventually Disney didn't have a choice, and they had to start. And they just went through how like first it was classics, then it was masterpiece, then it was this edition and this edition and this edition. But each like iteration they were later trying, they never did it for every.
Right.
They always sought to do it for every movie, and then they'd get like 6 or 7 years in and change course and add some more stuff. And it just became like I wanted to get every diamond edition, but then it was like no, that one has a diamond edition, that one has a masterpiece, and that one has a gold edition and a platinum edition. And
it's so funny how late that even went too, because like I have a Blu-ray of Cinderella that's the diamond edition.
Yep. It went up until Disney Plus.
That's so weird.
So, and they said that the last...
And it was like $60. It was...
60?
What? Maybe more.
60? Does that seem like a lot?
For a Blu-ray? For a single movie? Yeah.
The first time that Disney was like, fine, you can own it. Fine, you can buy it. You want to buy it? I dare you to. And this was for the shitty VHS version. Not even VHS. Betamax or Cardivision or whatever it was back in there. $230 adjusted for inflation.
Wow. Whoa. Okay. Well, wow. Why? Don't you want to make money?
They still believed that
the most money would be made by people going to see it in theaters again.
And they didn't want to change the mindset of people.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting. So when they first did that, their idea was let's price everybody out to where the only people that are going to buy these are going to be rental shops, movie shops, and people can go and they can rent the movies. So you have to pay each time you watch. It's crazy. And so that eventually, and yeah, obviously we all hate the Disney Vault now, but if you look back on it, it's one of the most genius marketing strategies of all time. Because it kept that like
mentality going,
star of quality.
Sure.
That perception that we grew up just inherently. So it's really cool. I definitely recommend watching it.
I think I will, because that does fascinate me. I always remember seeing like at the beginning of movies like the ads, and it's like
yes,
or on TV like returning to the vault soon. Like make sure you get it. I'm like, what? Why?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
He does videos with a guilt counter at the bottom. And it's literally like, for the last time ever, next time, and again, if you want to watch it now, you better. I mean, it's just...
And then Disney Plus comes out, and it's like, oh, well, sorry to all of you that did that, but now everyone can watch everything.
That's why I've been waiting. Like, like, just my OCD being cured is why I was excited for Disney Plus to come out.
Yep.
Just to be like, oh, okay, it's done. You've just killed it. It no longer matters.
Yep.
But apparently, so they say at the end that they attempted to do one last release, which was the signature edition. And it had like Walt's signature. I would love for them to do every movie, signature edition, 4K Blu-ray, digital, whatever, as a physical version. Don't make any more iterations. Make that the final physical version.
What's every movie though? Like, where do you draw the line?
And that's where it just becomes, and I think that's why it was so
like, because obviously not the straight to home sequels.
Yeah.
Just like Disney princess movies and like,
or is it Walt Disney Animation Studios featured animation films, regardless of success? People going to pay $60 Fox and the Hound and Cinderella? No.
But like, I feel like I would lump Mary Poppins in with like as classic of a movie as some of those animated ones. So like you gotta throw some of those in there.
So that's why I gave up.
Yeah. But, and then Pirates of the Caribbean? Huh?
Throw Maybe. That on there?
Yeah.
No, and I'm happy you brought up this. Oh yeah, we tried to do that, and it's like they were so expensive, and it was, but like, of course that's what you were gonna try to do, to get them, like, because we're loyal, and they know it, and they.
Right.
Yeah.
It was way too much money.
It was just.
They would have to do it again and make it be like $25-$30, and then maybe I don't care. I don't need them.
Yeah, I'm happy with where we're at.
There's like I I don't think I'll buy another Marvel Blu-ray past the Infinity Saga. I want to, because I have so many of them, I want to complete that. And then, like, at a certain point, I don't know, like, I don't want to keep collecting the Pixar movies.
Yeah, it's... We're like, look at our life in front of us, realizing, like, oh, it's just going to keep going. It was nice when it was the first for us.
Yeah.
Like, Pixar are us. Like, there's not 70 years of history before.
Right. Yeah. We started
that
with
we
it.
just weren't around for.
Right.
Yeah, but it's overwhelming. Hey, and all of the things we're listing, literally everything we just talked about, Star Wars, Disney, Pixar, Marvel, all on Disney Plus.
Exactly, and that's what makes it so much harder. I think with Pixar, I think I'll end with Toy Story 4.
That's good.
Toy Story 4, it's great, right? So Toy Story 1, I want to. So Onward, since it had such a weird release and it kind of released on Disney Plus, like I'll start there with that being like the stream. Yeah, I first watched it on Disney Plus.
2020.
Yeah.
2020 forward.
Yep. So yeah, Toy Story 4 will be the last Blu-ray I own for Pixar. But also, I have to go back and buy The Good Dinosaur, and I don't want to do that.
Do it.
I don't want to.
Fine.
I will probably, but I don't want to.
Wait till it's on sale.
Yeah. What's your? Let us know your favorite collection of Blu-rays. Put that in the comments.
Or what is a series movie that you like? Even if you had them all digitally, that you'd still want to own the physical version of.
Yeah.
Even if you don't watch it, like just to have that, let us know.
Please let us know.
If you have one and it's like a cool special edition, like your cool special edition Star Wars, show us.
Definitely. I want to see. I had the DVD set of the original trilogy, and I'm missing one of them, and it really upsets me.
Missing one of the discs or the whole?
The whole box, the whole case.
I did want to say, so do you still have all your old Disney VHSs?
Yep, somewhere.
So I was considering
we
getting
just got rid of
them.
a lot of VHSs recently. I saved the art, but I think we got rid of a lot of the tapes.
Okay. I'm gonna keep them.
I forget. I'll have to ask my dad. That was something we went through like 6 months ago or something.
Yeah. It's crazy. Everybody has them though.
Yeah.
So it's such a fun thing.
Well, thank you for listening to the Huber Rebels podcast. If you have been listening, you can watch us on YouTube, on the Huber Rebels channel. We also do reactions to movies and shows and trailers, maybe. Who knows?
Go check trailers with quotations.
If you've been watching us on YouTube, you can listen on iTunes on the Apple Podcast app. Please like and subscribe on YouTube. Give us comments, give us feedback, and give us a rating on iTunes. It helps. Give us a good rating. If you have criticism, don't give us a bad rating. Put it in the comments and let us know what
criticism.
But we also have a Patreon if you want to subscribe there. We have bonus content. Go there to find out like what the tiers are and the cost and all that good stuff. But we have pre-shows and post-shows and all kinds of stuff. So
mid-shows, we actually do a special breakout segment where we stop in the middle of the podcast for 20 minutes, block some serious core conversation content.
Literally, sometimes yes. Sometimes when we take a break, we'll come back in with a conversation that's like not quite good enough for the show, but it's still entertaining. So I slide that in as like a little bonus segment too. So yeah, mid-shows even.
Sliding into the
DMs.
Patreon DMs.
But I got nothing else. My name is Jordan.
And my name is Ethan. We are the Huber Rebels.
What do I say? Until next time. Yeah.
Welcome to the rebellion.
My brain broke.
That's okay.